President Kiir instructs officials representing Upper Nile to foster grassroots peace efforts. African Development Bank stresses supporting South Sudan, Djibouti, Ethiopia road feasibility study. And economic difficulties expose resilience in women engaging in petty trading to sustain their families. Good afternoon and welcome to SSBC News at 1. I am Duku Wilson taking you through this news bulletin. We begin at the State House, where President Salva Kiir has instructed officials representing Upper Nile region to step up grassroots peace engagements for nationwide peace and reconciliation. SSBC's Alejandro Lotok reports.
President Salva Kiir Mayardit has directed ministers hailing from the greater Upper Nile region to frequently return to their constituencies and speak directly with citizens about peace, reconciliation and security. During Wednesday meeting, the president underscored the vital role senior government officials play in shaping stability at the grassroots. He said maintaining close contact with the people would help strengthen trust, amplify peace messages, and support ongoing government efforts to secure calm in all parts of the country. The Minister of Roads and Bridges, Peter Lam, both welcomed the directive. He told reporters that ministers are ready to head to their home areas to promote unity and reassure communities of the government's commitment to sustaining peace.
We just had a meeting with His Excellency the President, and the focus of the meeting was about peace and stability in the newer areas of Greater Upper Nile. We briefed him on the situation on the ground, and he has directed us that he needs peace and that we as ministers must be visible in our communities. We have to visit our areas, and hopefully in December or even in the new year we should be able to visit our areas. We also express our thanks to His Excellency the President for the concern that he has for peace to prevail in the newer areas.
In another development at the State House, President Kiir receives a comprehensive briefing from Western Equatoria Governor James Altaib Berapai. Their discussion focused on security, governance, and the state's progress in maintaining stability. Speaking to SSBC, Governor Altaib said Western Equatoria is currently enjoying relative calm across all counties. He assured the president that the state government is working tirelessly to preserve that stability and deepen peace across the region.
Come and report about the general security situation in the state and the administration as well. And the meeting was successful and fruitful, in which I rendered the report about the security situation and the general administration, and he assured his cooperation to the people of Western Equatoria. And we also asked his visit, that people of Western Equatoria are demanding his visit to Western Equatoria, in which he responded positively that the visit will take place on due time. On behalf of the people of Western Equatoria, I'm extremely happy today to have this chance of meeting His Excellency the President.
President Kiir commended the Western Equatoria leadership and reaffirmed his government's support for peace building and development initiatives nationwide. Alejandro Lotok, SS.
South Sudan's friendly nations, including Norway and India, have reaffirmed their continued support for lasting peace and stability in the country, which would enable citizens to exercise their democratic rights at the end of the transitional period. This follows a series of meetings held by the Vice President for the Economic Cluster, Dr. James Wani-Iga, with the Norwegian Ambassador and Indian External Affairs Secretary. SSBC's Henry Jada John reports.
With relative peace and stability across the country, South Sudan's international partners, among them Norway, have reiterated their commitment to supporting national unity and peace efforts as the election period approaches. During a meeting with Norwegian Ambassador Roha Hosdal, Vice President Dr. James Wani-Iga praised Norway for its unwavering support from the liberation struggle through to independence. The Norwegian diplomat outlined the key outcomes of their discussions.
We discussed the current situation in the country and how to move forward. I emphasized the need for de-escalation and dialogue, but in order to have a dialogue, the authorities need to lay the foundation for such talks. As always, action speaks louder than words, including on paying salary.
In a separate development, Dr. James Wani Iga arranged with a joint Indian delegation led by Secretary of the Ministry of External Affairs, Suresh Kumar, to strengthen bilateral relations. Kumar reaffirmed India's commitment to supporting South Sudan in health, mining, and infrastructure sectors.
His Excellency gave us a roadmap and certain proposals to take this partnership forward, especially identified some sectors like infrastructure, mines and minerals, agriculture, and other areas on the economic side where we can take this partnership forward. We will work on these sectors and see how to develop this partnership. Our capacity building is already progressing very well. India is always happy to share its experiences with its friends in South Sudan.
Vice President IGA's Press Secretary Nelson Leju said the Vice President welcomed continued partnership with India, particularly in building the capacity of South Sudanese professionals.
And actually the appeals for the Indian delegation to support the country in areas of mining, education, and health. Indeed, the government of India has been helping the government of South Sudan for many years, and His Excellency called for this partnership to continue so that the people of South Sudan will benefit from the government of India in this initiative.
The meeting also reviewed the country's overall political and security situation. For SSBC News, I am Henry Jadajo reporting.
Senior Presidential Advisor Kwal Manyangjuk and Information Minister Tenyiwe Katenyi engaged in extensive discussions aimed at fostering the role of media in disseminating messages of peace and unity among the people of South Sudan. Minister Tenyi expresses his ministry's readiness and commitment to working with the peace implementation bodies to advance peace efforts in the country.
The purpose of the visit was to first introduce myself to him, that I am now the newly appointed Minister of Information and Telecommunication and Postal Service. I'm a very familiar person to him, but I have to introduce myself officially, given that General Kwal Manyang is one of the leaders of the liberation struggle and one of the leaders of today SPLM, because he's one of the senior members. If someone has just come to a position of government, then it is incumbent upon that person to visit all the leaders of the SPLM. I will also be paying the same visit to General Daniel Awinakot and all the other senior commanders of the SPLM. I will be visiting them as time allows, but it is my honor today that I met General Kwal Manyang in his office, and he was very open. He received me very warmly, and we discussed issues pertaining to how the peace implementation, particularly the revitalized peace agreement or resolution of conflict, is going under him now, and also other challenges that are actually facing the country. We discussed also number of other important issues that a government must
The Presidential Advisor on National Security Affairs, Tour Galwak, convened with the Sudanese Ambassador Issam Mohamed Karar over challenges facing South Sudanese in Sudan and Sudanese in South Sudan. The meeting focused on strengthening the bilateral relations between Juba and Khartoum. The officials highlighted the importance of maintaining cordial trade, investment, and political relations for mutual benefit of the two countries. Presidential Advisor Tour Galwak reaffirmed Juba's readiness to working with the Sudanese authorities to resolve some critical issues that would affect the relations between Juba and Khartoum. The European Union continues to express its commitment to supporting South Sudan in achieving the enduring peace and stability for social and economic development of its people. This follows a meeting between the senior presidential envoy Adut Kir Mayardit and the EU ambassador to South Sudan, Pele Enason, focusing on bilateral cooperation in South Sudan's energy sector. During the meeting, both sides underscored the need for reliable and sustainable electricity as a foundation for economic growth, services delivery, and improved livelihoods. Adut Kir emphasized the government's commitment to strengthening bilateral and regional cooperation in the energy sector. As the country prepares for general elections in 2026, SPLM is making efforts to reorganize its structure towards achieving its goals. On Tuesday, SPLM Secretary General Dr. Akol Paul convened with Central Equatoria State Governor Emmanuel Adil Anthony, who is also the state chairman, SPLM chairperson, to foster these efforts. SSBC's Jacqueline Perino reports.
As the country prepares for general elections in 2026, the Sudan's People Liberation Movement is making efforts to reorganize its structure towards achieving its goals. On Tuesday, SPLM Secretary General Dr. Akol Paul convened with Central Equatoria State Governor Emmanuel Adil Anthony, who is also the state SPLM chairperson, to foster these efforts. Addressing the media after the meeting, Governor Emmanuel Adil stated that the party is embarking on strengthening its organizational structures to ensure readiness for the elections next year.
We discussed quite a range of issues on governance. All of you are aware that I'm SPLM nominated governor. And then we discussed a range of issues. One of the issues is of how we could manage the state affairs, and we have given me necessary guidance. And then two, we have discussed about the role of the party in our state as we move towards elections. We are well aware that next year, as a party, we are now embarking on our own organizational setup so that we are ready for the general elections. So I also gave him the insight of our programs and our plans and what we intend to do at the level of the state as a government.
In other news development, wounded heroes and veterans of the liberation struggle paid a courtesy visit to the SPLM Secretary General Dr. Akol Paul at the SPLM Secretariat in Juba to express their gratitude to the President and SPLM Chairman Salva Kiir Mayardit for his continued support. The veterans invited the Secretary General to visit them in their respective locations to witness their living conditions and engage with them directly. Dr. Akol Paul welcomed the invitation to honor their contributions, sacrifices, and unwavering commitment to the liberation struggle.
I came to the SPLM National Secretariat to convey their gratitude and thanks to the Chairman of the SPLM, Comrade Salva Kiir Mayardit. In return, they have invited me, on behalf of the SPLM, to visit them in their place and see their condition. As SPLM Secretary General, I have received and welcomed the request, and together we'll plan my visit to their place, and from there we'll work together with them, and we appreciate their struggle, their contribution, their sacrifices.
On behalf of the veterans, Major Deng Marwal expressed appreciation to both the SPLM chairman and the Secretary General for their ongoing support to wounded heroes and veterans.
يجي يسلم الأمين العام SPLM ونحن نودي شكر لقائد سلفا كير مياديت ودهنا أمين العام دكتور كول ده داو شكر جبنا لأمين العام ولقائد SPLM كير مياديت شكرا.
The ruling party acknowledges the wounded veterans for their contribution to the liberation struggle that led to the independence of South Sudan. Jacqueline Perino, SSBC News, Juba.
It's time to go for a quick break. Please stay with us. We are back in a moment with more stories. Welcome back. I am Duku Wilson and you are watching SSBC News at 1. Moving on, top officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Interior convened in Juba on Wednesday to enhance cooperation and streamline passport issuance and deployment of immigration officials abroad. SSBC's Abraham Felix reports.
The meeting convened at the invitation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs centered on enhancing cooperation, streamlining passport issuance procedures, and finalizing the deployment of immigration attaches to South Sudan diplomatic mission abroad. The Director General of Civil Registry, Elia Costa, stated that the leadership agreed special and official passport will be issued only with the approval of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and will be done in accordance with the established rules and regulations and will apply to individuals in title positions.
The leadership of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation and the Ministry of Interior met and discussed issues of mutual concern, continue cooperation between the two ministries, and resolve the following. Number one, due to lack of regular and diplomatic passport booklet plus the nationality cards, I am hereby updating on the following. A special passport and the official passport will only be approved by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, according to those who are entitled in accordance with the rules and regulations.
He added that citizens requiring urgent medical treatment overseas will be temporarily provided with business passport or emergency travel documents.
Cases of critical emergency, such as medical referral abroad for treatment, can be handled through the usage of business passport or travel document. Number two, the meeting also resolved the status of deployment of immigration attaché to South Sudan mission abroad in accordance with the budget ceiling and downsizing procedures. Number three, the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation and the Honorable Acting Minister of Interior agree to continue engaging the Honorable Minister of Finance and Planning to resolve the issue of the payment in order to avail passports and nationality card.
In a separate development, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mande Simaya Kumba, held a meeting with British Ambassador David Ashley in Juba on Wednesday. The meeting centered on bilateral relations between the two countries. The official exchanged views on cooperation across various fields of mutual interest, reaffirming their commitment to continue dialogue and partnership. Additionally, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mande Simaya, received newly designated ambassador of the Russian Federation to South Sudan, Alexander Kosomodyansky, in a formal meeting in Juba on Wednesday. Ambassador Kosomodyansky presented a copy of his credential to Minister Kumba, marking the official commencement of his diplomatic mission in Juba.
I just want to say that we open the new page of the relationships between our countries. Because, as you know, 2 years ago, our presidents had a meeting at Moscow, and they decided to establish embassies in our countries. It's very, very important for our countries, and we are looking forward for the development of our relationship, because we were waiting this action so many times.
According to officials, the meeting signifies a continuation of diplomatic engagement between South Sudan and the Russian Federation.
The Continental Financial Institution, the African Development Bank, has approved a new strategy for supporting the continued collaboration with South Sudan's government, covering the period of 2025 to 2027, with 6 key areas of investment being the bank's top national priorities, including women empowerment, energy, water and sanitation. The bank's country manager for South Sudan, Temba Bebe, confirmed this to the media following his meeting with the Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Bak Barnaba Chol Bak, whom he briefed about developmental initiatives being supported by the financial institution. The discussions also centered on regional projects such as Djibouti, Ethiopia, South Sudan Road Corridor, as feasibility studies and environmental impact assessment from Kapoita, Boma and Red are set to be carried out in 2026 to ensure regional connectivity.
The African Development Board, Bank Board, approved the strategy for a new strategy for our support and collaboration with the government of South Sudan. This covers the period 2025 to 2027, where we are going to have 6 major investments with about 300 million. The first one are 3 what I call national projects, scaling up our support to women, water and sanitation, and then scaling up our support to the energy sector. Then the regional ones, probably, as I have indicated before, the South Sudan is part of the Horn of Africa initiative, which the bank is spearheading. So there are several projects there that were approved for South Sudan. So we're doing feasibility studies for the transmission line from importing electricity from Ethiopia. And just this afternoon, the board approved the South Sudan, Ethiopia, Djibouti road corridor. On the South Sudan side, we are going to focus in this next year on the feasibility studies and also the environmental impact assessment, since this is Kapoita, Boma, Rad. So it's passing through a very fragile environment, so we have to do extensive feasibility studies. On the Ethiopian side, of course, they are doing investment in the Djibouti side. So I had come to inform the minister about these developments and also to seek his guidance about our future relationship with the government. So basically, these are the major, apart from, of course, talking about the current investments, which are about 350 million, and of course, water and sanitation, agriculture, public finance management, support to women, and so forth. So basically, we are looking at more for scaling all the ongoing programs.
The government reiterates commitment to implementing the revitalized peace agreement and conducting general elections at the end of the transitional period. The statement unveiled in a meeting of the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and the delegation of the United Nations mission headed by Deputy Special Representative of the Secretary General for Political Affairs. The Deputy Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Joseph Malek Arop, says the minister briefed the delegation on the status of the peace agreement implementation, especially the transitional period. Meanwhile, UNMISS Deputy Special Representative of the Secretary General for Political Affairs, Graham Matalan, says that the meeting discussed political situation and preparation for the upcoming elections, besides UNMISS' role in supporting the process.
The Honorable Minister assured the head of UNMISS readiness of government and Minister of Justice to conduct election in 2026, and we are working hard to prepare a legal framework for coming election. And also the minister briefed them, Minister of Justice. We are implementing everything. Just we are waiting for broad guideline from African Union related to hybrid court. And if we receive, then we initiate a legislation to establish that institution also.
On the political process to get back to dialogue among South Sudanese leaders about the next year, in particular in preparation for the elections and the work that needs to be done, and of course UNMISS's role in support of all of those efforts. So we had a really good and productive discussion on an exchange of views on this on these sets of issues, and then secondly also to continue to inform the leadership of this ministry also about the ongoing work in the contingency plan for UNMISS with the reduction.
Turning to humanitarian efforts, against the backdrop of relief challenges, relief authorities have launched a localization pre-conference, bringing together key civil society and humanitarian actors to advance a South Sudanese-led approach to aid development. The pre-conference provides a platform for stakeholders to define their roles in streamlining or strengthening community-centered humanitarian response and long-term resilience. Humanitarian Affairs Minister Albino Akolak stressed that localization is not optional but an essential shift towards empowering local communities with leadership and resources. The director of the NGO Forum, Jibril Agboled, said the conference aims to turn ideas into actionable commitments for professional and accountable service delivery. Repent Taban added that the gathering is intended to equip both government institutions and the private sector to address existing constraints and help shape strong national strategies.
Relations is not only about aid, it is about development and economic transformation. That is why the private sector must also be at the center of this agenda. Local businesses drive production, create jobs, and keep value within our economy. When companies invest in local talent, build local supply chains, and expand technology and infrastructure.
This year we had a very heavy blow. Next year we're looking at significant increase in terms of the needs of the population, but also reduced funding potentially. And this is globally as a result of the reprioritization being made by several governments across the board. So how do we ensure that we are reducing the dependence on these costly systems? How do we strengthen our capacity to respond to national crisis? How do we also create opportunities for local businesses?
Private sector, humanitarian, and the government will then come together and at the same time join in that main conference. With this conference, which is actually you, the government, and the private sector, today's workshop is your workshop. The idea is to prepare you to understand.
ASK Foundation, the charitable organization founded by Adud Salva Kiir, continues to reinforce government's humanitarian support by donating more than 450 bags of food supplies to Gorom refugee camp as part of Christmas and New Year celebrations. SSBC's Mathiang Joseph reports.
At Gorom refugee camp, home to over 17,000 refugees from neighboring countries, particularly Sudan, vulnerability remains high as thousands continue to rely on limited humanitarian support. The ASK Foundation, in cooperation with the Holistic Wellness Initiative South Sudan and with support from Spread Truth Africa, delivered 450 bags of food items to the camp as part of its festive program. James Tuch Madhier, representing the Office of the Senior Presidential Envoy on a special program, says the donations brings much needed relief, but it still falls short of the vast needs of families in the camp.
450 bags of food items that have been donated by Spread Truth Africa and facilitated by the Office of the Senior Presidential Envoy to reach the people of Gorom, the refugees that are in Gorom. This is a courtesy from the government of South Sudan and the people of South Sudan to our refugee brothers and sisters that are here in Gorom.
ASK Foundation's Executive Director Deng Arob Mayuen says the consignment has been delivered under the directive of the Senior Presidential Envoy on Special Programs, Adud Salva Kiir, as part of annual Christmas and New Year support to vulnerable communities in the country.
We believe South Sudanese, they are people of resilience, people of good hearts and good wills. If we join together with one hand and grab our hand together, we can do better.
The chairperson of Gorom Camp, Omot Obang, appreciated the foundation for the assistance, urging the government and humanitarian agencies to continue supporting the refugees amid ongoing hardship.
If South Sudan government could really recognize refugees who are suffering in their own country and support them with such kind of support, it would be rather good.
The ASK Foundation's festive outreach program is an annual initiative that aims to support vulnerable communities across South Sudan through food donations, essential supplies, and community engagement activities during Christmas and New Year. This year's intervention at Gorom refugee camp reinforces the foundation's commitment to humanitarian support and strengthening community resilience in the country. Reporting for SSBC News, Mathiang Joseph.
Reverting your attention to women in economic activities, the country's economic hardship continues to reveal the resilience of women who are never reluctant to engage in petty business activities to sustain their families. SSBC interacted with some women who struggle daily to earn enough income to put meals on the table and meet other basic family needs. Isaac Ludoro reports.
Petty trade has grown sharply in reaction to harsh economic climate in the country. Many people are struggling to earn some income for meals on the table and other basic necessities for the family daily. It is not anything surprising to find women busily engaged in markets until late evening to guarantee children have something to eat before they get into their beds. A vegetable seller, Mary Achan, says she obtains her vegetables from her supplier at high prices. For her to recover her capital, she is compelled to sell the vegetables at higher retail prices.
The goods are expensive. We don't make any profit. What can we say? Nothing we can do. We bring it at high prices, but they don't bring us any profit.
This small note can buy for us anything from the shop. That is, in fact, the government need to pay attention and address the challenges facing vegetable sellers.
Peter Mabon a trader in maize flour, rice and cooking oil, says he is ever running into difficulties with his various customers, particularly the disadvantaged.
I bring lentils and beans daily, and sometimes I get it in a higher price. Sometimes the money I have isn't enough to buy them, and the next day I got to buy, I find the prices increase, and the problem is that the market isn't stable. The things we bring, like flour, if we sell it in one day, it will make a profit, but sometimes it takes us 3 days depending on the market.
Members of this group ask for lower prices. The affluent want to see what they purchase weighed or measured as in soaps. Ladu Lukaklege, chairperson of the National Chamber of Commerce, attributes high market commodity prices partially to hoarding. He says some traders in local markets deliberately hide their goods to have prices inflated.
Some of the traders are listening to us, and they will reduce the prices. Regarding the selling in dollars, this is a pact, and we have to say the truth. Citizens buy goods in pounds, but they say the prices are higher. Because the pound multiplied its equivalent by today, dollar rate in the market and converted to the pound rate. The citizen will buy sugar at the price of the pounds, but it has been converted to the rate of the dollar. Why? So that the merchant can buy hard currency and be allowed to buy sugar the next day and sell it according to the buying and the selling price.
دولار عشان بكرة هو بقدر رجعه سكر بتو بنفس السعر اللي باعه أو بأقل سعر من اللي باعه.
Surviving a harsh economy in Juba requires a suitable approach including diversifying income through agriculture, small businesses, and trade focusing on local production to combat food insecurity. This story was reported with a grant from Journalists for Human Rights under the Tackling Mis and Disinformation Project funded by the Peace and Stabilization Program of the Government of Canada.
South Sudan certificate examinations continue across the country. SSBC tours schools to understand the reception of exams among grassroots learners. Mario Sulaiman has the details.
Addressing students at El Sobat Secondary School in Upper Nile State, Jacob Dolarud encouraged candidates to concentrate on their examinations for good results for their family, their states, and the country.
As a government, we prioritize education as a key for success, every human being. So therefore, we are here today as the government, and regarding of the issue that people are saying, the issue of insecurity, Malakal is secure, 100% secure. The number of students are now happy and celebrating the joy for starting the examination.
The governor of Western Baragazal State, Sharif Daniel Sharif, exhorts learners at Busiri Secondary School to focus on answering the questions well for them to achieve good grades.
أنا متأكد أنتم هتنجحوا وتجيبوا درجات عالية وأنا عايز أشوف أول بتاع الشهادة السودانية أو شهادة بتاع جنوب السودان يكون من واو.
Addressing the senior,
to give us what they have learned throughout the years. We don't want them to be assisted completely. They should not be assisted. They have to do it by their own, and the way I've seen them, they are ready to do it by them.
And that's all we have in this news bulletin this afternoon. Thank you for watching, and please continue with the rest of our programs. I am Duku Wilson. Good afternoon.
visita, oh habibi. Wana balifu wara shabab dusu dusu itabe sukulu yo mana zuibo ibo umangulu besmarudu kanana meta ya habibu besitabe sukulu yo ana zuibo ibo. So take me with you Wanarudu, to be your wife Anazu. Baby, take me with you Wanarudu, to be your wife Anazu. Marry me, marry me, marry me, marry me, make me your wife, baby. I say marry me, marry me, marry me, marry me, make me your wife, baby. Marry me, marry me, marry me, marry me, make me your wife, baby. Marry me, marry me, marry me, marry me, make me your wife, baby. Karakabu baby ana arifu, umataki ana ya bitarimu, akutata kide abutai. Oh my baby oh, ihtiram taki mabina gisu, kafi mashakil nina bina khishu, bira bira nina biwasulu. Oh baby, sikarito wilazu wana meita. Together me and you we can make it better. Sikarito wana meita. Together me and you we can make it better. Bishiri tale mama papa, umanazo wainu ita, ishara tama hindu haja.